Welcome back to our discussions and thank you for always joining us. We are presenting a question that was done in KCSE 1996 paper 2 question number 24, a question on trigonometry. And the first part of the question says complete the table given below for the functions y is equal to negative 3 cos 2x degrees and y is equal to 2 sin 3 over 2x degrees plus 30. For the range of values of x between 0 degrees and 180. So we are going to begin by taking negative 3 cos 2x. X is 20 in our first part. So 20 times 2 is 40. So if you press negative 3 cos 40 degrees, you'll get an answer that is equivalent to negative 2.30. Then we have 40, which is going to be 2 times 40, which is 80. Negative 3 cos 80 will give us, negative 0.52. And of course, at 120, we are going to have 2 times 120, which is 240. Negative 3 cos 240 will give us exactly negative 2.0, negative 2.30. And at 180, we are going to have 2 times 180, which is 360. So that we take negative 3 cos 360, we are going to have negative 3.0. We come down again to the second column, where we have y is equals to 2 sin x, 3 over 2x plus 30. So at 20 degrees, we are going to have 3 over 2 times 20, which will give us 30. 30 plus 30, we are going to have 60. So we will replace 2 sin 60. And 2 sin 60 will give us 1.73. We move to 80. So 3 over 2 times 80 will give us 120. 120 plus 30 will give us 150. So 2 sin 150 will give us 1.0. And that's 1.00, correct to 2 decimal places. And at 140, we are going to have 3 over 2, that is 2 sin 3 over 2 times 140 plus 30. And this one is going to give us negative 1.73. And lastly, at 160, we are going to get negative 2.00. And that gives us now a complete table. From there, we can proceed and plot our graph. Using the grid provided, draw the graph of y is equals to negative 3 cos 2x degrees and y is equals to 2 sin 3 over 2x plus 30 on the same axis. Take 1 centimeter to represent 20 degrees on the x-axis and also 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. Remember, this scale must be used when you are doing this question. We are going now to move to the graph. And first, let us have our scale down. So our scale that we are going to apply could be 1 centimeter to represent 20 degrees on the x-axis. So the common point is 0. So next is 20. 40, we have 60. We have 80. 100. We have 120. We have 140. 160 and lastly 180. And on the y-axis, we have been told to use 2 centimeters, that is 2 boxes to represent 1 unit. And this one is going to be, so for y-axis, we are going to use a different scale. Y-axis, we are going to use 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit. But as I said before, when you have been given the scale, the grid provided will be able to accommodate all the values you have, and therefore you must use it. but for now I'm going to only use the scale that they have given on the x-axis of 1 centimeter to represent 20 degrees so that I can be able to accommodate all the values I have. The highest value on the y-axis is -3, and therefore I prefer to use a scale of 1 centimeter to 1 unit. So we have 1.0 here, then we have 2.0, we have 3.0 and around 4.0. Then we are going to have that is -1, sorry, -1.0, -2.0, -3.0, and up to -4.0 there. Once we have done that, we can now start plotting our graph. When the value of x is 0, y is -3 degrees for the first graph. So at 0 it is -3, which is at this point here. And at 20 degrees we are going to have -2.0, -2.3, sorry. At 20 we are going to have -3, -2.0, -3.0, sorry, -2.3 will be around this point here. And at 40 degrees we are going to have -0.52. -0.52 is around this point here. -0.252, this is 2, 4, 5. 5 is around this point here. At 60 we have 1.5. 1.5 is midway between 2 and 1. At 80 degrees we are going to have 2.82. 8 we have 2.82 around this point here. And at 100 we have 2.82, which is at this point here. At 120 we have -2.0. Let us confirm. At 120, sorry, we are supposed to have 1.5 here. So at 120 we have 1.5, which is midway here. At 140 we have -0.52, which is at this point here. At 160 we are going to have -2.3. At 160 we have -2.3 at this point here. And finally at 180 we are going to have -3, which will be at this point here. So once we have done that, we are going to draw our curve on all the plotted points. So we join all these points this way. So that we are able to get that graph and name it. So this is y is equals to -3 cos 2x. And after we have named that, we can now move and do the other one. We are going to plot the second one. At 0 degrees we have 1. At 0 degrees we have 1. At 20 we have 1.73, and 1.73 is around this point here. At 40 degrees we are going to have exactly 2. And at 60 degrees we are going to have 1.73. At 60 we are going to have 1.73, which will be at this point here. At 80 we are going to have 1.0, which will be at this point here. At 100 we are going to have 0, which will be at this point. At 120 we have -1, 0.0. At 140 we have negative 1.73, which is around this point here. At 160 we are going to have negative 2. At 160 we are going to have negative 2. And at 180 we are going to have negative 1.73, which is at this particular point here. So once we have done that, again we are going to draw a line or a curve that will join all these points that we have plotted. So we are going to move through all these points that we have plotted here, so that we are able to get that particular wave that way and give it a name. That is y is equals to sine 2x, that is sine 3 over 2x, 3 over 2x plus 30, and that is exactly what we are supposed to do before we go to part B of the same question. So once we have completed that, we can now do part B of the question. From your graphs, find the roots of 3 cos 2x plus 2 sin 3 over 2x plus 30 is equals to 0. It means this particular wave has been moved from the other side so that it becomes positive, because initially it was negative 3, and therefore this is the point at which the two curves are going to be equal. And if we take this to the other side, it is going to be negative, and therefore it's a situation where we have negative 3 cos 2x being equal to 2 sin 3 over 2x plus 30. So we are going to look at the point where the two curves are going to intersect and give the two values of x at that point. So the first value is going to be here. So we are going to draw a broken line towards the x-axis and pick this point, and also look at the other point, which is this one, and then draw a broken line towards this point for us to pick that value. So at this first point here, the value of x is going to be 61 degrees. And of course, at this particular point, the value of x here will be around 156. 156 degrees. It will be approximately 156, around 157 degrees. And of course, in both cases, we are going to have a plus or minus 1 degree. That becomes the solution to this particular question. Thank you for watching and welcome to our discussions. And in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, you click the subscribe button, so that anytime we publish a video like this, you will automatically be given a notification. Thank you and welcome.